Good morning, adult Karen Carew. This is an adult channel not intended for kids under the age of 13. Hey, Arnie, hit that like button. Oh, excuse me. Hit the like button. Good morning, Jerry. But I'm just going to wait a few minutes and then we'll just get started. I'll be moving some coloring books to be put away for the year until the holidays coming in. Yay! I got a teddy. Hi, Izzy. You know, after a holiday, you wake up the next morning and your stomach is sore. I think my dad ended up having Christmas dinner last night, but he couldn't eat with us because he got, for some reason, he got sick to the stomach. So he says, well, go lay down and you eat later. So me and my brother ate too much. Ugh, no. You can't give me eggnog. I'll be pooping in it. I mean, not pooping. I'll be passing gas and it would stink like rotten eggs. No, you can't give that to me. Yeah, yesterday I did. But it's the holidays. Even my meme, when she was live, says, as long as you eat your meals, you can have what you want. And I did. I made sure I ate what I put on my plate. And my dad says, don't think that you can take just a little bit and then have junk food. Oh, what? No, 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 no. I'm going to take what I think I can eat. And that's it. But if you're still hungry, you eat until you're full. Well, okay, but now they say don't eat until you're full. Everybody hit the like button if you want me to get started. Most ever. That's it. It's Izzy. Most ever. That's funny. Okay. Most ever. He called you most ever. And I'm like, what? That's Izzy. It just got me laughing. All right. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us for our trespasses. Forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not to temptation, deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, the glory, forever and ever. Amen. I can barely get through that. Yeah, I'm going to finish that one picture I'm doing. Technically, the picture, it's from Christmas book, but it's not too Christmassy. It's just the birth of Christ. And I can look at look at the cat, so cute. We can color Jesus any old day. We can color Christmas any old day, but I want to make room in my dresser drawers, so it's gonna go in the drawers in the wall. Okay, let's listen to Arnie. We're gonna be listening. Arnie's read from Jesus Calling and Jesus Lives and two other books.
This is gonna be a quick one. Just got home, 12:30 in the morning.
Oh,
Be a quick one
you didn't have to do it if you got home that late.
for today. I, Arnie of Layla and Maya and much more channels, give Michelle of Michelle's Adult Coloring Therapy to use my content for today's devotion. I am the gift that continuously gives.
Hi, Night Owl.
Bounteously with no strings attached. Unconditional love is such a radical concept
Look.
to even my most devoted followers fail to grasp it fully. Absolutely nothing in heaven or on earth can cause me to stop loving you. You may feel more loved when you are performing according to your...
Oh, no. Sorry. We're starting over.
This is going to be a quick one. Just got home, 12:30 in the morning.
Sorry.
Be a quick one for today.
How's your Christmas, Vicky?
And much more channels. Give Michelle of Michelle's Adult Coloring Therapy to use my content for today's devotion. I am the gift that continuously gives. Bounteously with no strings attached. Unconditional love is such a radical concept to even my most devoted followers fail to grasp it fully. Absolutely nothing in heaven or on earth can cause me to stop loving you. You may feel more loved when you are performing according to your expectations. But my love for you is perfect, therefore it is not subject to variation. What does vary is your awareness of my loving presence. When you are dissatisfied with your behavior, you tend to feel unworthy of my love. You may unconsciously punish yourself by withdrawing from me and attributing the distance between us to my displeasure. Instead of returning to me and receiving my love, you attempt to earn my approval by trying harder. All the while I am aching to hold you in my everlasting arms, to enfold you in my love. When you are feeling unworthy or unloved, come to me and ask for my receptivity to my unfailing love. Then John 4, verse 15 through 18, Deuteronomy 33, verse 27, Psalm 13, verse 5. The woman said to him, Sir, give me the water so I won't get thirsty and have to keep coming here to draw water. He told her, Go call your husband and come back. I have no husband, she replied. Jesus said to her, You are right when you say you have no husband. The fact is, you have had 5 husbands, and the man you now have is not your husband. What you have just said is quite true. And that's John 4, verse 15 through 18. Deuteronomy 33, verse 27. The eternal God is your refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. He will drive out your enemies before you, saying, destroy them. Psalm 13, verse 5. Whoops. Okay, phone acted up. But I have trusted in thy mercy. My heart shall rejoice in thy salvation. I see the heavens open and the Son of Man standing at the right hand of God. Acts 7, verse 56. Jesus stands up for you. In the creeds, we confess the scripture that Jesus is seated at the right hand of the Father. All authority in heaven and on earth belongs to him who sits on the throne. But at Stephen's trial, Jesus is standing at God's right hand. The King of creation stands up for his servant. He is acting as his advocate, like a defense lawyer in a courtroom. As Stephen is about to fall as a martyr, Jesus raises to intercede on his behalf and to receive him into his presence in heaven. This is true for all who believe. Jesus stood in for you in death, and now he stands up for you as your advocate and defender. It is written, Christ Jesus is at the right hand of God, interceding for us. Satan and the Word may condemn and persecute us, but we have a mighty intercessor before the Father, Jesus Christ, the righteous. He stands up for us and honors us and gives us life forever. Let us then, like Stephen, keep our eyes fixed on Jesus. Let us boldly confess him before men, confident that he will rise to his feet and to confess us before his Father in heaven. And then we pray, Lord, deliver me from the hand of my enemies and from those who persecute me. Amen.
Amen.
And as
Whoops. Hold on.
today's devotion from Jesus Calling and Portals of Prayer. And sorry, this has to be a quick one for today.
It's just as long. I did get a book for Christmas. Lightsaber book. I walked down last night in the morning to get my coffee to do my devotions, and I see 2 of these underneath the tree. One for me, one for my brother. I'm like, yay, Santa came. I actually got teary-eyed because my great-grandmother started that every Christmas. But back then, it was 2 sides. It was here, and it was all different flavors. It wasn't just rainbow. You know what I mean? They changed a lot of stuff since I was a kid. Okay, now we're on Ezekiel 44, and we'll finish Ezekiel out today. And most likely, I'm going to be laying down and watching my family vloggers that film Christmas. I love watching those. Oh, excuse me. My stomach's sore because I ate a lot.
Chapter 44. The Prince, Levites, and Priests. Then the man brought me back to the east gateway in the outer wall of the temple area, but it was closed. And the Lord said to me, "This gate must remain closed. It will never again be opened. No one will ever open it and pass through, for the Lord, the God of Israel, has entered here. Therefore it must always remain shut. Only the prince himself may sit inside this gateway to feast in the Lord's..."
Oh, I just found out my niece Bridget, she got a Yorkshire Terrier puppy a few days before Christmas. She is so dang cute.
presence, but he may come and go only through the entry room of the gateway. Then the man brought me through the north gateway to the front of the temple. I looked and saw that the glory of the Lord filled the temple of the Lord, and I fell face down on the ground. And the Lord said to me, "Son of man, take careful notice. Use your eyes and ears and listen to everything I tell you about the regulations concerning the Lord's temple. Take careful note of the procedures for using the temple's entrances and exits. And give these rebels, the people of Israel, this message from the sovereign Lord. O people of Israel, enough of your detestable sins. You have brought uncircumcised foreigners into my sanctuary, people who have no heart for God. In this way you defiled my temple, even as you offered me my food, the fat and blood of sacrifices. In addition to all your other detestable sins, you have broken my covenant. Instead of safeguarding my sacred rituals, you have hired foreigners to take charge of my sanctuary. So this is what the sovereign Lord says: no foreigners, including those who live among the people of Israel, will enter my sanctuary if they have not been circumcised and have not surrendered themselves to the Lord. And the men of the tribe of Levi who abandoned me when Israel strayed away from me to worship idols must bear the consequences of their unfaithfulness. They may still be temple guards and gatekeepers, and they may slaughter the animals brought for burnt offerings and be present to help the people. But they encouraged my people to worship idols, causing Israel to fall into deep sin. So I have taken a solemn oath that they must bear the consequences for their sins, says the sovereign Lord. They may not approach me to minister as priests. They may not touch any of my holy things or the holy offerings, for they must bear the shame of all the detestable sins they have committed. They are to serve as the temple caretakers, taking charge of the maintenance work and performing general duties. However, the Levitical priests of the family of Zadok continued to minister faithfully in the temple when Israel abandoned me for idols. These men will serve as my ministers. They will stand in my presence and offer the fat and blood of the sacrifices, says the sovereign Lord. They alone will enter my sanctuary and approach my table to serve me. They will fulfill all my requirements. When they enter the gateway to the inner courtyard, they must wear only linen clothing. They must wear no wool while on duty in the inner courtyard or in the temple itself. They must wear linen turbans and linen undergarments. They must not wear anything that would cause them to perspire. When they return to the outer courtyard where the people are, they must take off the clothes they wear while ministering to me. They must leave them in the sacred rooms and put on other clothes, so they do not endanger anyone by transmitting holiness to them through this clothing. They must neither shave their heads nor let their hair grow too long. Instead, they must trim it regularly. The priests must not drink wine before entering the inner courtyard. They may choose their wives only from among the virgins of Israel or the widows of the priests. They may not marry other widows or divorced women. They will teach my people the difference between what is holy and what is common, what is ceremonially clean and unclean. They will serve as judges to resolve any disagreements among my people. Their decisions must be based on my regulations, and the priests themselves must obey my instructions and decrees at all the sacred festivals, and see to it that the Sabbaths are set apart as holy days. A priest must not defile himself by being in the presence of a dead person, unless it is his father, mother, child, brother, or unmarried sister. In such cases, it is permitted. Even then, he can return to his temple duties only after being ceremonially cleansed and then waiting for 7 days. The first day he returns to work and enters the inner courtyard and sanctuary, he must offer a sin offering for himself, says the sovereign Lord. The priests will not have any property or possession of land, for I alone am their special possession. Their food will come from the gifts and sacrifices brought to the temple by the people, the grain offerings, the sin offerings, and the guilt offerings. Whatever anyone sets apart for the Lord will belong to the priests. The first of the ripe fruits and all the gifts brought to the Lord will go to the priests. The first samples of each grain harvest and the first...
Hi, no. Excuse me. Hello there, Noel. Merry Christmas to you too. Yeah, love. Oh, well, thank you. You have a great day too. And I love your name. Thank you for coming. Everybody go check out Noel.
of your flour must also be given to the
think
priests,
I will.
so the Lord will bless your homes. The priests may not eat meat from
No,
any bird or
no.
animal that dies a natural death, or that dies after being attacked
I already got
by
him.
another animal.
I already got him. I got him. Yep, I got you. I got you, dude.
Chapter 45. Division of the Land. When you divide the land among the tribes of Israel, you must set aside a section for the Lord as his holy portion. This piece of land will be 8
I got
1/3
you,
miles
dude.
long and 6 2/3
It's
miles
almost
wide.
done.
The entire area will be holy. A section of this land measuring 875 feet by 875 feet will be set aside for the temple. An additional strip of land 87.5 feet wide is to be left empty all around it. Within the larger sacred area, measure out a portion of land 8 1/3 miles long and 3 1/3 miles wide. Within it, the sanctuary of the most holy place will be located. This area will be holy, set aside for the priests who minister to the Lord in the sanctuary. They will use it for their homes, and my temple will be located within it. The strip is
Just double checking, Vicky. There was no trivia yesterday, right?
sacred land next to it, also 8 1/3 miles long and 3 1/3 miles wide, will be a living
That
area for
dawned
the
on me.
Levites who work at
Or
the
next
temple.
week, right?
It will be their possession and a place for their towns. Adjacent to the larger sacred area will be a section of land 8 1/3 miles
All right.
long and 1 2/3 miles wide. This will be set aside for a city where anyone in Israel can live. 2 special sections of land will be set apart for the prince. One section will share a border with the east side of the sacred lands and city, and the second section will share a border on the west side. Then the far eastern and western borders of the prince's lands will line up with the eastern and western boundaries of the tribal areas. These sections of land will be the prince's allotment. Then my princes will no longer oppress and rob my people. They will assign the rest of the land to the people, giving an allotment to each tribe. Rules for the princes. For this is what the sovereign Lord says: Enough, you princes of Israel. Stop your violence and oppression and do what is just and right. Quit robbing and cheating my
What?
people out of their land. Stop expelling them from their homes, says the sovereign Lord. Use only honest weights and scales and honest measures, both dry and liquid. The homer will be your standard unit for measuring volume. The ephah and the bath will each measure 1/10 of a homer. The standard unit for weight will be the silver shekel. 1 shekel will consist of 20 gerahs, and 60 shekels will be equal to 1 minnah. Special offerings and celebrations. You must give this tax to the prince, 1 bushel of wheat or barley for every 60 you harvest, 1% of your olive oil, and 1 sheep or goat for every 200 in your flocks in Israel. These will be the grain offerings, burnt offerings, and peace offerings that will make atonement for the people who bring them, says the sovereign Lord. All the people of Israel must join in bringing these offerings to the prince. The prince will be required to provide offerings that are given at the religious festivals, the new moon celebrations, the Sabbath days, and all other similar occasions. He will provide the sin offerings, burnt offerings, grain offerings, liquid offerings, and peace offerings to purify the people of Israel, making them right with the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says. In early spring, on the first day of each new year, sacrifice a young bull with no defects to purify the temple. The priest will take blood from this sin offering and put it on the doorposts of the temple, the 4 corners of the upper ledge of the altar, and the gateposts at the entrance to the inner courtyard. Do this also on the 7th day of the new year for anyone who has sinned through error or ignorance. In this way, you will purify the temple. On the 14th day of the first month, you must celebrate the Passover. This festival will last for 7 days. The bread you eat during that time must be made without yeast. On the day of Passover, the prince will provide a young bull as a sin offering for himself and the people of Israel. On each of the 7 days of the feast, he will prepare a burnt offering to the Lord, consisting of 7 young bulls and 7 rams without defects. A male goat will also be given each day for a sin offering. The prince will provide a basket of flour as a grain offering and a gallon of olive oil with each young bull and ram. During the 7 days of the Festival of Shelters, which occurs every year in early autumn, the prince will provide these same sacrifices for the sin offering, the burnt offering, and the grain offering, along with the required olive oil. Chapter 46. This is what the sovereign Lord says. The east gateway of the inner courtyard will be closed during the 6 workdays each week, but it will be open on Sabbath days and the days of new moon celebrations. The prince will enter the entry room of the gateway from the outside. Then he will stand by the gatepost while the priest offers his burnt offering and peace offering. He will bow down in worship inside the gateway passage and then go back out the way he came. The gateway will not be closed until evening. The common people will bow down and worship the Lord in front of this gateway on Sabbath days and the days of new moon celebrations. Each Sabbath day, the prince will present to the Lord a burnt offering of 6 lambs and 1 ram, all with no defects. He will present a grain offering of a basket of choice flour to go with the ram, and whatever amount of flour he chooses to go with each lamb, and he is to offer 1 gallon of olive oil for each basket of flour. At the new moon celebrations, he will bring 1 young bull, 6 lambs, and 1 ram, all with no defects. With the young bull, he must bring a basket of choice flour for a grain offering. With the ram, he must bring another basket of flour. And with each lamb, he is to bring whatever amount of flour he chooses to give. With each basket of flour, he must offer 1 gallon of olive oil. The prince must enter the gateway through the entry room, and he must leave the same way. But when the people come in through the north gateway to worship the Lord during the religious festivals, they must leave by the south gateway. And those who entered through the south gateway must leave by the north gateway. They must never leave by the same gateway they came in, but must always use the opposite gateway. The prince will enter and leave with the people on these occasions. So at the special feasts and sacred festivals, the grain offering will be a basket of choice flour with each young bull, another basket of flour with each ram, and as much flour as the prince chooses to give with each lamb. Give 1 gallon of olive oil with each basket of flour. When the prince offers a voluntary burnt offering or peace offering to the Lord, the east gateway to the inner courtyard will be opened for him, and he will offer his sacrifices as he does on Sabbath days. Then he will leave, and the gateway will be shut behind him. Each morning you must sacrifice a 1-year-old lamb with no defects as a burnt offering to the Lord. With the lamb, a grain offering must also be given to the Lord, about 3 quarts of flour, with 1/3 of a gallon of olive oil, to moisten the choice flour. This will be a permanent law for you. The lamb, the grain offering, and the olive oil must be given as a daily sacrifice every morning without fail. This is what the sovereign Lord says. If the prince gives a gift of land to one of his sons as his inheritance, it will belong to him and his descendants forever. But if the prince gives a gift of land from his inheritance to one of his servants, the servant may keep it only until the year of Jubilee, which comes every 50th year. At that time, the land will return to the prince. But when the prince gives gifts to his sons, those gifts will be permanent. And the prince may never take anyone's property by force. If he gives property to his sons, it must be from his own land. For I do not want any of my people unjustly evicted from their property. The temple kitchens. In my vision, the man brought me through the entrance beside the gateway and led me to the sacred rooms assigned to the priests, which faced toward the north. He showed me a place at the extreme west end of these rooms. He explained, this is where the priests will cook the meat from the guilt offerings and sin offerings and bake the flour from the grain offerings into bread. They will do it here to avoid carrying the sacrifices through the outer courtyard and endangering the people by transmitting holiness to them. Then he brought me back to the outer courtyard and led me to each of its 4 corners. In each corner, I saw an enclosure. Each of these enclosures was 70 feet long and 52.5 feet wide, surrounded by walls. Along the inside of these walls was a ledge of stone with fireplaces under the ledge all the way around. The man said to me, these are the kitchens to be used by the temple assistants to boil the sacrifices offered by the people. Chapter 47. The River of Healing. In my vision, the man brought me back to the entrance of the temple. There I saw a stream flowing east from beneath the door of the temple and passing to the right of the altar on its south side. The man brought me outside the wall through the north gateway and led me around to the eastern entrance. There I could see the water flowing out through the south side of the east gateway. Measuring as he went, he took me along the stream for 1,750 feet and then led me across. The water was up to my ankles. He measured off another 1,750 feet and led me across again. This time, the water was up to my knees. After another 1,750 feet, it was up to my waist. Then he measured another 1,750 feet, and the river was too deep to walk across. It was deep enough to swim in, but too deep to walk through. He asked me, have you been watching, Son of Man? Then he led me back along the riverbank. When I returned, I was surprised by the sight of many trees growing on both sides of the river. Then he said to me, this river flows east through the desert into the valley of the Dead Sea. The waters of this stream will make the salty waters of the Dead Sea fresh and pure. There will be swarms of living things wherever the water of this river flows. Fish will abound in the Dead Sea, for its waters will become fresh. Life will flourish wherever this water flows.
Hi, Alicia. Now I'm dying to know, what did your brother get you?
Fishermen will stand along the shores of the Dead Sea, all the way from En-Gedi to En-Eglaim. The shores will be covered with nets drying in the sun. Fish of every kind
It's
will
okay.
fill the Dead Sea, just as they
It's all that good food and happiness. I get it every year too. Right now I have it.
fill the Mediterranean. But the marshes and swamps will not be purified. They will still be salty. Fruit trees of all kinds will grow along both sides of the river. The leaves of these trees will never turn brown and fall, and there will always be fruit on their branches. There will be a new crop every month, for they are watered by the river flowing from the temple. The fruit will be for food, and the leaves for healing. Boundaries for the land. This is what the Sovereign Lord says. Divide the land in this way for the 12 tribes of Israel. The descendants of Joseph will be given 2 shares of land. Otherwise, each tribe will receive an equal share. I took a solemn oath and swore that I would give this land to your ancestors, and it will now come to you as your possession. These are the boundaries of the land. The northern border will run from the Mediterranean toward Hethlon, then on through Lebo-Hamath to Zedad. Then it will run to Berotha and Sibrim, which are on the border between Damascus and Hamath, and finally to Hazar-Hedekon on the border of Haran. So the northern border will run from the Mediterranean to Hazar-Enan on the border between Hamath to the north and Damascus to the south. The eastern border starts at a point between Haran.
Why haven't you opened all your presents? You're waiting for somebody special, or you just don't want to open them all at once?
And Damascus, and runs south along the Jordan River between Israel and Gilead.
Oh,
past the Dead
okay,
Sea,
okay.
And as far south as Tamar.
That's okay, yeah.
This will be the eastern border. The southern border will go west from Tamar to the waters of Meribah at Kadesh, and then follow the
Because they're at the dad's house, right?
course of the brook of Egypt to the Mediterranean. This will be the southern border. On the west side, the Mediterranean itself will be your border from the southern border to the point where the northern border begins, opposite Lebo-Hamath. Divide the land within these boundaries among the tribes of Israel. Distribute the land as an allotment for yourselves and for the foreigners who have joined you and are raising their families among you. They will be like native-born Israelites to you and will receive an allotment among the tribes.
What set did I
These
get?
foreigners
Let's
are to be
see.
given land within the territory of the tribe with whom they now live. I, the sovereign Lord, have spoken.
I got a 260 set, but 130 is the refills. Yeah. So that's pretty good. Now, don't use all your gel pens all at once like last time. Like the ones your father got you. Those went quick. Go. Oh, sorry.
Chapter 48.
Yay, last
Division
one.
of the
I'm
land.
just tired, that's all.
Here is the list of the tribes of Israel and the territory each is to receive. The territory of Dan is in the extreme north. Its boundary line follows the Hethlon road to Lebo-Hamath and then runs on to Hazar-Enan on the border of Damascus, with Hamath to the north. Dan's territory extends all the way across the land of Israel from east to west. Asher's territory lies south of Dan's and also extends from east to west. Naphtali's land lies south of Asher's, also extending from east to west. Then comes Manasseh, south of Naphtali, and its territory also extends from east to west. South of Manasseh is Ephraim, and then Reuben, and then Judah, all of whose boundaries extend from east to west. South of Judah is the land set aside for a special purpose. It will be 1/3 miles wide and will extend as far east and west as the tribal territories, with the temple at the center. The area
Nice.
set aside for the Lord's temple will be 8 1/3 miles long and 6 2/3 miles wide. For the priests, there will be a strip of land measuring 8 1/3 miles long by 3 1/3 miles wide, with the Lord's temple at the center. This area is set aside for the ordained priests, the descendants of Zadok, who served me faithfully and did not go astray with the people of Israel and the rest of the Levites. It will be their special portion when the land is distributed, the most sacred land of all. Next to the priest's territory will lie the land where the other Levites will live. The land allotted to the Levites will be the same size and shape as that belonging to the priests. 8
Let's see if we have the favorite scent. What's your favorite scent?
1/3 miles long and 3
We'll have a few.
1/3 miles wide. Together, these portions of land will measure 8 1/3 miles long by 6 2/3 miles wide. None of this special land may ever be sold or traded or used by others, for it belongs to the Lord. It is set apart as holy. An additional strip of land 8 1/3 miles long by 1 2/3 miles wide, south of the sacred temple area, will be allotted for public use, homes, pasture lands, and common lands, with a city at the center. The city will measure 1.5 miles on each side, north, south, east, and west. Open lands will surround the city for 150 yards in every direction. Outside the city, there will be a farming area that stretches.
What's your favorite scent Alicia.
There's 3 1/3 miles to the east and 3 1/3 miles to the west along the border of the sacred area. This farmland will produce food for the people working in the city. Those who come from the various tribes to work in the city may farm it. This entire area, including the sacred lands and the city, is a square that measures 8
Links
1/3
attract?
miles on
Oh.
each side.
Oh, okay. I thought it was gonna be like lavender or coconut or blueberry or something like that.
The areas that remain to the east and to the west of the sacred lands and the city will belong to the prince. Each of these areas will be 8 1/3 miles wide, extending in opposite directions to the eastern and western borders of Israel, with the sacred lands and the sanctuary of the temple in the center. So the prince's land will include everything between the territories allotted to Judah and Benjamin, except for the areas set aside for the sacred lands and the city. These are the territories allotted to the
coconut.
rest of the tribes. Benjamin's territory lies just south of the prince's lands, and it extends across the entire land of Israel from east to west. South of Benjamin's territory lies that of Simeon, also extending across the land from east to west. Next is the territory of Issachar, with the same eastern and western boundaries. Then comes the territory of Zebulun, which also extends across the land from east to west. The territory of Gad is just south of Zebulun, with the same borders to the east and west. The southern border of Gad runs from Tamar to the waters of Meribah at Kadesh, and then follows the brook of Egypt to the Mediterranean. These are the allotments that will be set aside for each tribe's exclusive possession. I, the sovereign Lord, have spoken.
I know you told me. That's
The gates of
awesome.
the city. These will be the exits to the city. On the north wall, which is 1.5 miles long, there will be 3 gates, each one named after a tribe of Israel. The first will be named for Reuben, the second for Judah, and the third for Levi. On the east wall, also 1.5 miles long, the gates will be named for Joseph, Benjamin, and Dan. The south wall, also 1.5 miles long, will have gates named for Simeon, Issachar, and Zebulun. And on the west wall, also 1.5 miles long, the gates will be named for Gad, Asher, and Naphtali. The distance around the entire city will be 6 miles, and from that day the name of the city will be The Lord is There.
And that's it for today. Yes, I did. From Kim. From Kim. Not these. I didn't know about those. I wanted oil pastels. I also wanted more markers, but that's okay. I can always get those. And I got them. I got the oil pastels. That's what I wanted. So, excuse me. I'm going to be doing that all day. I also have pastel sticks. So I have both of them. And those you can smudge and have it all. Yeah, they are beautiful. Look. Look at those colors. 2 white ones. Yep, I got what I want. Because I said it, I think. I think the only thing I want for Christmas is pastels. Oil pastels. Robin sent me the pastel sticks. Now, once I get the other gifts from Kim, I'm going to do what I got for Christmas haul. So, it will be late. Because I don't think... And she got me these too, Jerry. And also 3 coloring books, but 2 of them came like a month ago, and she told me to open them up right away because, you know, I could use them now. Let's see if her other gift was mailed out. What the fuck? Yeah, because my other set of gel pens, if you I'm starting to run out of a few colors, so she figured get me another set. So that's good. Can never have too much arts and crafts stuff. And I even told her, I told my dad, I think I told my dad, that I kind of regret getting such a big or large set. I told him next time I'm probably going to get a little less. He goes, well, 130 is still a lot. I'm like, yeah, but it's not as much. Angela, hi, Angela. Yeah, you are, because the ones your father got you, that beautiful art set, which I don't get why you didn't leave it in the nice, beautiful case. I would have, but that's okay. But anyway, you use those, within a week? I don't use mine all the time. That's why. I got those last year for Christmas. From Pam and Joe. I'm expecting something from him. I don't know when it's coming. I just have to, have you been here all along, Angela? I'll just have to oh crap. Yep. And I got the best book anybody could ever get. A book of lifesavers. Were they a cheap set? Yeah. I told my brother I asked him if I could go to the gym today. He goes, yeah, why not? My dad says, you'll go no matter who's home. I'm like, I know. But you know what? No, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I think tomorrow tomorrow's my last cheat day to have, man. After all this holiday stuff is gone. See, we didn't do none of the we didn't make no pies. I went, who cares? It doesn't matter. I said we got Jeannie's cookies to eat, so. So guys, I'm gonna go rest. I'm not gonna eat breakfast right now. Yeah, my dad definitely ate supper last night. He probably just ate late because most of the biscuits are gone. Man, I gotta get more of those. It was honey butter flavored. I'm like, oh, those were good. Okay, guys, I'm gonna watch my my vlogs, my Christmas vlogs, which I watch every year. I can't wait to watch Clintus TVs. I've been watching them from since his first Christmas vlog. So love, don't judge. Peace out. I love you all. Thank you so much for